My mysterious doctor and blessed little wife is such a tease. Chapter 1, I can't stand it anymore. Chapter 1, I can't stand it. Hot. It's hot. She felt his head dizzy, his body like being burned by fire, tired and dry, and his heavy eyelids couldn't open at all. Indistinctly, she had a strange dream, dreaming that she was reborn in 1983, and became a poor who was bullied by others who neither loved nor loved her. Every day she lives carefully, but she is still covered in bruises. She is like a little beast that has lost the ability to resist, and can only be slaughtered by others. And the culprit behind all this was actually her family. Family? She originally had a warm and happy family. She grew up with the love and doting of her parents, but after a while, her parents were hunted down by inexplicable forces, and a bullet pierced her heart. Before she died, she felt the pendant around her neck heat up, then it glowed dazzlingly, and then she didn't remember anything. Isn't she dead? Being rescued? Xiujuan. I'm afraid this child can't stand it anymore. At this moment, an old voice sounded in his ears, with strong worry and distress in his tone. Han Dazhu looked at the skinny Qin with pain, her eyes were closed, her face was flushed, and there were beads of sweat on her forehead. Next stood a middle-aged woman. The middle-aged woman was wearing a grey cloth. Her face was thin and sallow, her eyes were sunken, and she looked much older than her actual age. Her brows were filled with heavy exhaustion and haggard. At this moment, the middle-aged woman was wiping the sweat on the forehead of the thin woman with a handkerchief, her eyes full of distress and self-blame. Dad, why don't I go to the Qin family and ask them to come and see the child? Luo Xiujuan looked at Qin who was dying, gritted her teeth, tears welling in her eyes, but stubbornly refused to fall. Hearing the Qin family, Han Dazhu snorted coldly, don't go, their Qin family are all beasts, don't count on them. But Xiaoxi is Qin's family after all. The Qin family? You forgot how the Qin family treats Xiaoxi. Over the years, the Qin family treats her as a cow and horse. Now she is the daughter-in-law of the Han family, and she has to be buried in the ancestral grave of the Han family. Don't look for them. If you dare to look for them, don't call me dad again. Looking at the stubborn old man, Luo Xiujuan could only secretly wipe away her tears. At this moment, there was a sound of footsteps outside the door. Han Dazhu frowned and walked towards the door with a cane. As soon as he opened the door, he saw a group of people rushing into the house, led by a young man in his 20s. Han Dazhu looked at the young man at the head, his eyes were full of vigilance and hostility, and asked in a gloomy tone, Qin Feng, what are you doing here? Qin Feng, the elder brother of Qin's firstborn compatriot. His appearance is a bit wretched, and his eyes are flickering with cunning. He is not a good thing at first glance. Not only that, he is very arrogant, and he often mixes with the local hooligans in the town. Looking at it makes me unhappy. Qin Feng waited for Han Dazhu with a vicious look, he sneered, what are you doing? I heard that my sister will die the next day after marrying into your family. Han Lame, what do you think I'm here to do? Of course, it is to seek justice. It's gone. Han Dazhu's nickname is Han Lotzi. Han Dazhu didn't give in, he stabbed the ground with his crutches, frowned, and looked at him as if he was mentally retarded, seeking justice. Oh, I don't need to tell you how your Qin family treats Xiaoxi. Qin Feng, you better get out of here, don't be ashamed here. Said, stretched out his hand and pushed Qin Feng hard. You bad old man, how dare you be rough with me? End of this chapter. My mysterious doctor and blessed little wife is such a tease. Chapter 2, Behind the Scenes. Chapter 2, Behind the Scenes. Qin Feng glared angrily. Don't look at Han Dazhu being a lame man, he is very strong. Qin Feng didn't notice it for a while, he was pushed and staggered, and he suddenly became angry and stared at Han Dazhu with cold eyes. Han Dazhu didn't give in at all, and straightened his back. What? Am I pushing wrong? If you don't agree, just come and try, old man, I'm not a vegetarian, the big deal, old man, I will work hard with you, anyway, I have enough to live. This is the case, if you die sooner or later, you will die, it's better to pull a few backs before you die. He looked at Luo Xiujuan, who was so frightened that his face turned pale, go get me a kitchen knife. Today, I want to see who dares to hit Xiaoxi. Hearing the knife, Qin Feng's expression changed, and he was furious. Old man, don't toast, don't eat and drink fines, your Han family must compensate my sister for killing my sister. If you don't compensate, don't blame me, Qin Feng, for turning his face and not recognizing anyone. Han Daju's old eyes were shrewd and hot. He looked at Qin Feng and sneered contemptuously. I knew you Qin family dogs couldn't stop eating shit, and the lions opened their mouths for the wedding bride price. You can't wait to make compensation while you're alive. I really doubt that Xiaoxi's illness is because of you behind the scenes. Han Daju just said casually, but saw Qin Feng's face change, his eyes flashed slightly, and he argued loudly with a guilty conscience in his neck. What are you saying? Xiaoxi is my sister, how could I? Possible. Han Daju has learned a little bit of boxing and kung fu from people since he was a child. He is also a hunter. He has been dealing with animals all year round. Good, you Qin Feng, you actually want to kill your own sister. Han Daju raised his crutches, his face grim, as if an angry lion would pounce on Qin Feng at any time. What nonsense are you old man, who wants to harm her, you spit out blood. Qin Feng was frightened and hurriedly denied it. There was a hint of cunning in Han Daju's eyes, and suddenly he glared at Qin Feng with sharp eyes. Very good, since you don't admit it, then I will take Xiaoxi to the county town to check. If it is true, you will be imprisoned. Bar. He pointed at the hooligan behind Qin Feng who was watching the show with his crutches, and threatened, and you guys, it seems that they are with him. No, we don't know him, he said he wanted to spend some money when he had no money, it's none of our business. Yes, he also said that he could have a lot of money today and invited us to drink. None of my business, let's go. After that, the gangsters ran away in a hurry. Although they were all idiots, they didn't want to be charged with murder. When Qin Feng saw that they had all run away, his heart skipped a beat, and he panicked, but when he thought of gambling debts, he immediately summoned up his courage. Compared to chopping his fingers, what was his sister's fate? He just wanted to open his mouth to ask for compensation, but he felt that the wind behind him was not good. Before he could turn around, a big stick with a thick bowl smashed down. If he didn't hide quickly, the sap would definitely hit him on the head. Rao hit him on the shoulder, and Qin Feng almost burst into tears. He was so in pain that he hugged his head and screamed and cursed, You idiot, you dare to hit me, believe it or not, lousy. Don't hit me. Stop fighting, I surrender. Han Shi snorted heavily, with a childish tone in his tone, and the stick in his hand was smashing with a strong wind. You are a bad person, bullying my daughter-in-law, and calling me a fool, see if I don't kill you. End of this chapter. My mysterious doctor and blessed little wife is such a tease. Chapter 3, Death Grass. Chapter 3, Deadly Grass. Han Daju not only did not stop him, but also reminded Qin Feng kindly, Boy, old man, I can tell you that it is not illegal for a fool to kill. If Han Shi misses, you will die in vain. Yes, death in vain. Han Shi nodded his head seriously, his handsome face was full of seriousness. He suddenly looked at Luo Xiujuan who was at a loss, his tone was solemn and serious. Mom, bring me a kitchen knife, I want to kill. Luo Xiujuan was so frightened that her face turned pale, her calf trembled, and she quickly supported the edge of the heated Kong, barely allowing herself to fall. She knows best who her son is. Although he is only 5 years old with an IQ, he is by no means ambiguous in his actions. He has completely inherited the ruthlessness of the old man. It's almost as if the old man pointed to where to fight, and it works better than anything. Han Daju shrewdly twitched the corners of his mouth, looked at Qin Feng who was beaten and cried, and asked coldly, Qin Feng, let me ask you, what happened to Xiaoxi? If you tell me, maybe I can let it go. I passed you, but if you don't say that you will cause death, you will wait to be put in jail. Qin Feng was so frightened that he had no masters. Although he was domineering, he was a typical squatter. He was timid in the face of Han Lipi, who had beaten big bugs before, which is why he attracted a large group of people to support the scene. I. He and I stayed for a long time, but he didn't say anything wrong. Han Daju snorted heavily, Little Stone, kill him. Han Shi nodded solemnly, with a serious expression, raised the stick and smashed it down, hitting Qin Feng's thigh firmly. The latter screamed and begged for mercy. Don't hit, I said, did I say it's not enough? Han Dazhu asked Han Shi to stop, and Han Shi stopped obediently. I just gave her some sting, life-threatening grass. Just a little, no more. He lowered his head, said fumblingly, and gestured with his little finger. Deadly grass. Hiss. Han Dazhu and Luo Xiujuan breathed a sigh of relief. Their eyes were red, and the fierce light in their eyes could not wait to tear him apart. That's something that can eat dead people. Qin Feng was so frightened that he shivered and said with tears in his nose, I can't do anything either. I owe a gambling debt outside. If I don't pay it back, they will ask for my hand. No way. Han Dazhu was so angry that he gasped for breath and reprimanded loudly, You bastard. You bastard. That's a life, how can you? At this moment, a weak cough came, and the three of them looked at Qin Shi on the Kong at the same time. Xiaoxi, you are awake. Great. Luo Xiujuan was the closest to Qin Shi, and when she saw her waking up with her eyelashes, she rushed over excitedly. Let him write. Qin Shi's voice was like a gossamer, and he couldn't say a complete sentence. It seemed like he wanted to hate the Northwest at any time. What? What did you say? Writing to cut off. Cut off from the book. From now on, I am no longer. I am not the Qin family. Qin Shi's breath became weaker and weaker. After saying this, she was exhausted and her eyes rolled over. The creek. Han Dazhu and the others turned pale in shock, and hurriedly went around to check. Qin Feng also felt a sigh in his heart, afraid of risking human life, and quickly took the opportunity to slip out. At this time, Qin Shi's soul was in a void space, and there was a thing like a crystal ball hanging in front of her. The crystal ball was glowing with a touch of soft moonlight. She looked good, and she reached out and touched it. End of this chapter. My mysterious doctor and blessed little wife is such a tease. Chapter 4, Mysterious Medicine. Chapter 4, Mysterious Medicine Techniques. Suddenly, a golden light sank between her eyebrows, a strange feeling spread throughout her body, and her drowsy head became clear. Qin Shi only felt completely comfortable, as if all negative emotions had been dispelled. At this moment, she felt something inexplicable in her mind, mysterious medicine art. Just as he was about to study what it was, suddenly his chest felt cold. Qin Shi opened his eyes subconsciously, and an enlarged handsome face was close to her. She was startled and slapped her conditioned reflex. A snap. Qin Shi saw the man looking at him with a wronged expression, and there was a striking slap print on his left face. Who are you, you? As soon as S voice fell, Qin Shi suddenly realized something. She suddenly touched her chest, originally wanting to confirm the gunshot wound on her chest. As a result, I felt lonely. No, this is not her chest shouldn't be so flat. No, it's not right. Isn't she dead? How come you are alive again? And, what about wounds? Where did her wound go? Daughter-in-law, what are you looking for? I'll help you find it. Han Shi's handsome face came close, and he almost posted it. Qin Shi looked up at him, and suddenly saw a cloud of black mist on Han Shi's head. He reached out to touch it, and the black mist swooped into her body, and a blurry picture suddenly appeared. However, her brain was still in a dead state, and before she could read the screen, she felt a pair of big hands reach in. The originally blurred picture instantly dissipated. Qin Shi screamed, "Ah, pervert!" Clenched his fist and hit Han Shi's handsome nose. Han Shi screamed in pain, and for a while, the room was full of turmoil. Han Dazhu, who was smoking in the yard, and Luo Xiujuan, who was feeding the pigs, rushed in immediately after hearing this. They saw Han Shi hiding in the corner with a face, holding his head and crying for help, while Qin Shi was holding a water bottle. The pillow full of corn kernels smashed Han Shi hard, and his ruthlessness was completely different from the dying look yesterday. Han Dazhu saw this. Not only was he not angry, but he also laughed excitedly. Ha, good fight, if you don't listen to your daughter-in-law, you should fight. Although Han Dazhu didn't know why the two fought, but seeing Qin Shi's vigorous appearance, the big stone in his heart finally fell. Luo Xiujuan felt sorry for her son, especially Han Shi's face, which made her feel bad, and immediately climbed onto the Kong and pulled Qin Shi away. What's the matter? Why are you fighting, Xiaoxi? Little, if there is something wrong with the stone, tell Mom. Mom will teach you a lesson. Mom. Qin Shi then carefully observed the surrounding environment, the old and dim room, the shabby and mottled furniture, the dust in the room, and the air was filled with a dusty smell, which made people feel depressed and suffocated. And the three faces in front of him, the memory of the original owner rushed up, and Qin Shi finally realized that he was reborn. Was reborn on a newly married woman with the same name and surname in Shanwan village, and a man with an intelligence less than 6 years old in front of her was her husband Han Shi. The amount of information was too large, and Qin Shi couldn't accept it for a while. Before that, he was still in desperation, and he became a married little daughter-in-law in a blink of an eye. Pity that she got married before she was in love in her previous life. Hey! Mom! Qin Shi scratched his dry short head, looked at Luo Xiujuan apologetically, and said jerkily, I just fell asleep, and I saw that he was too close to me, so just. Han Shi hid behind Luo Xiujuan, biting his ears pitifully in a low voice. Mom and daughter-in-law are too fierce, she hit me, it hurts. End of this chapter. My mysterious doctor and blessed little wife is such a tease. Chapter 5, don't hate him. Chapter 5, I don't dislike him. Qin Shi twitched the corners of his mouth, coughed lightly, and mumbled something inexplicable. Whoever told you to rip off my clothes would be like to beat you. Immediately remembering that Han Shi is now her husband, Qin Shi suddenly wanted to sew in the ground in embarrassment. Seeing a suspicious blush on her sallow face, Luo Xiujuan was afraid that she would have a high fever again, so she immediately asked with concern, Xiaoxi, how are you feeling? Are you feeling better? Mom, I'm much better, but I'm just a little hungry. As if to confirm his own words, his stomach growled in a timely manner, and Qin Shi blushed. Luo Xiujuan immediately smiled and patted her dry and rough hand. I'm hungry, Mom will bring you something to eat. Qin Shi drank a bowl of rice porridge and 2 large bowls of white steamed buns. She never knew that steamed buns can be so delicious, sweet, soft and fragrant, as if steamed buns are the most delicious in the world. Goodies. Maybe she was hungry, so everything tasted delicious, but it is undeniable that the food of this era is sweeter than the organisms cultivated in later generations. Especially under the conditions of natural growth, chemical fertilizers are avoided. Most of them are mixed with grass ash and mud and sprinkled in the puddles in the field, or watered with manure. Therefore, the toughness and sweetness of the food can be preserved. Benefits, it's really delicious. If it wasn't because she was too hungry to eat more, she could eat 2 more. Luo Xiujuan saw that she had eaten all, and asked with a smile, how is it? Are you full? If you are not full, Mom will steam some for you. Qin Shi rubbed his hands embarrassedly, I'm full. Eat and drink. She suddenly remembered that Qin Feng brought people to make trouble yesterday, and wanted to use her death to blackmail Han Dazhu's family, so that he could pay off the gambling debts he owed. Such a vicious brother, Qin Shi only felt extremely ironic and disgusting, and immediately looked at Han Dazhu, and said obediently and firmly, Grandpa, I want to cut ties with the Qin family and become a stranger in the future. Do you agree with me to do this? She is not afraid that Han Dazhu will think that she is unfilial. After all, the Qin family has a very good family and a nest of snakes and rats. It is a miracle that she can survive until now. Especially Qin Feng did such an wicked thing and strengthened his mind. Han Dazhu nodded thoughtfully, it's better if you break it, there will be no such bad things if you break it. Luo Xiujuan was worried but hesitated. Qin Shi smiled, Mom, what do you have to say? Although she is skinny, her eyebrows and eyes are curved like a weak willow, which is quite soft and delicate like Lin Daiyu. Han Shi's tensed handsome face also laughed. He was just attacked by Qin Shi and his nose was bleeding. He blocked it with a sanitary ball. However, the toilet paper at that time was pink and the quality was very poor. Knowing that Han Shi's IQ was only 5 years old, Qin Shi suddenly felt a little fortunate, not for anything else. If the Qin family were more rude, marrying her to an old bachelor or an evil mother-in-law, she was afraid that she would wear it back again. There is a heart to die. There are two advantages to marrying Han Shi. First, you don't have to worry about what he will do to you, you can stay here in peace. Secondly, the Han family treats her very well, and she is willing to serve food and drink. 3. And the most important point, she doesn't dislike Han Shi either. At this moment, Luo Xiujuan said worriedly, "Hey, I'm worried that the Qin family won't let you go, they." She originally wanted to say that they were all vampires, but if her father-in-law had some weight, the Qin family would have been lying on the Han family long ago to blood. They will agree. Qin, she said decisively. Oh. The girl has an idea. Han Daju's eyes flashed. Qin, she smiled proudly, approached them, and whispered, "We can do this." For a moment, Han Daju clapped his legs and laughed, and nodded her head, "Girl, you are so shrewd." End of this chapter. My mysterious doctor and blessed little wife is such a tease. Chapter 6, Door to Door. Chapter 6, Homecoming. At around 9 o'clock the next day, while all the men of the Qin family were busy in the fields, Qin Shi was lying on a simple stretcher made of fabric sheets, carried by Han Shi and Luo Xiujuan, while Han Daju was in front. Open the way and head to Qin's house aggressively. Seeing their vicious looks, the uncles and aunts in the village didn't think it was a big deal to watch the fun, and they came to Qin's house one after another, climbing the wall to the top of the wall, to the firewood, each one of them was as positive as the new year. Han Daju pointed at the gate of Qin's house and shouted to Han Shi, "Little stone, go knock on the door." Han Shi was very obedient, he sighed, put down the dying Qin Shi, ran over and started knocking on the door. The gate was originally made of several wooden boards. After the wind and the sun, it was forbidden to knock such a knock. With a click, the wooden board cracked and the gate fell directly to the ground. When Han Shi saw this, he broke into the courtyard and kicked the courtyard wall made of Qin's soil. He is like a contemporary husky, no grass grows wherever he goes, and within a moment, the courtyard is already a mess. Especially the two half-person height large porcelain jars in the yard, one stone and one, were all smashed, and the water and pickled vegetables in them were scattered all over the floor. Who got 1,000 knives, and knocked on the door so early? Don't you know that the old lady is sleeping? Hearing the voice from outside, the old lady's acerbic cursing sound came from the room. As her voice fell, Han Shi stopped and carried Qin Shi in together with Luo Xiujuan. Now is the hottest time in July, but Qin Shi was covered with a thick quilt, but only a small ball was bulging while lying on the stretcher. She was skinny, her face was ashen, and her short messy hair was like a chicken coop. Not only that, but everyone couldn't feel her breathing up and down. If it wasn't for the painful look on her brows, everyone thought she was dead. At the same time, the door creaked open, and a shriveled old lady walked out. This person was Qin Shi's grandmother, Li Hohat. There are two middle-aged women behind Li Hohat, the skinny one is Zhang Cuiyan, the daughter-in-law of the big house, and the slightly fat woman is Hu Xiaofeng, the daughter-in-law of the second house, who is also the mother of Qin Feng and Qin Shi. They didn't seem to see Qin Shi, who was terminally ill, and their eyes fell on the messy yard. Li Hohat got angry from his heart, pointed at Han Daju, and cursed murderously, "You immortal thing, how dare you smash the yard of the old lady's house? Oh, my yard, oh, Han lame, you bully people too much, bullying my old lady is weak, is it really unreasonable?" Saying that, he sat on the ground and started rolling. "Old lady, don't make trouble. If you make trouble, it's useless. I'm here to find Qin Feng to settle the account. You ask Qin Feng to come out. If he doesn't come out, then I will send him to the place where he should be sent." Han Daju Justice shouted sternly. "Looking for Xiaofeng? Why are you looking for Xiaofeng?" Hu Xiaofeng crossed her waist and crossed her eyebrows coldly, similar to Li Hohat's bitterness. Han Daju pointed at Qin Shi, "See, this is your daughter. She has been out of breath and inhaled less. It hasn't been long. Your Qin Feng is really vicious. In order to blackmail me, an old man, he poisoned Xiaoxi. What do you say I'm looking for him for? Of course it's to pay for my life. Poisoning. No wonder the child's face is so bad, it turned out to be poisoned. My God, how dare that kid Qin Feng poison his own little sister? What a shame. It's not the first day I met the Qin family. Their family is immoral. Hey, this child is so pitiful. End of this chapter. My mysterious doctor and blessed little wife is such a tease. Chapter 7, Poison. Chapter 7, Poisoning. The people around were talking a lot, pointing at Li Hohat and others. Hu Xiaofeng glanced at Qin Shi. There was not a trace of kindness in her eyes, but only disgust and bad luck. What are you bringing her for? Go out, don't die in our house, how bad luck. Everyone is speechless. Is this still a mother? It is said that tiger poison does not eat children. Is this person worthy of being a mother? Luo Xiujuan's heart sank. How do you talk? Xiaoxi is your daughter. Hu Xiaofeng raised her neck. I just like to talk like that, you can't control it. Han Dazhu said viciously, don't talk nonsense with her. I'm here today to find Qin Feng and ask that little from Qin Feng to come out. Tell you, if you don't come, I will ask you to enter the police station. Police station? In this day and age, the definition in their minds of the police station is that they are in a prison, and they can't get out when they go in. They are too fearful of the police. Even if they don't make mistakes, they are subconsciously afraid, just like elementary school students who see their teachers, with deep-rooted fear. When everyone heard that they went to the police station, they immediately knew that things might not be easy, so they quickly called the 7 ants and 8 ants, and climbed to the top of the Qin family wall to watch the play. Hu Xiaofeng was anxious. She was an uneducated village woman. When she heard that her son was going to the police station, it was like poking a hornet's nest. The son is her life, how can she go to a place like the police station? No, absolutely no. You lightbulb, dare to touch my son, I will never stop with you. Hu Xiaofeng grabbed the face of the North Korean Dazhu with his teeth and claws. If she was caught, it is estimated that the whole face would be caught like a tabby cat. Han Dazhu snorted coldly, easily dodged her claws, raised his crutch and placed it on the waist of her bucket. Hu Xiaofeng slammed and fell to the ground. Hu Xiaofeng lay down on the ground, rolling around again, crying and scolding, murder, kill, God killed Han Lame is going to kill, there's no reason, Qin Hongtao, come out and have a look, the Han family. It's going to kill you. Qin Hongtao, Qin Shi's biological father, like Qin Feng who is idle, is an old man who eats and does nothing all day. I went out for a drink last night and was sleeping soundly in the room at this time, the snoring was deafening. Hu Xiaofeng didn't call out Qin Hongtao, but the old man Qin Guobiao did. What's the matter? Han Dazhu, what are you doing? Qin Guobiao saw chickens and dogs jumping in the yard, the old wife and the second daughter-in-law were crying on the ground, his face sank, and he immediately looked at Han Dazhu. Do what? Han Dazhu was furious, he tapped the ground heavily with his cane, and pointed at Qin Shi beside him, your precious grandson Qin Feng, Xiaoxi's brother, in order to pay off the gambling debt, actually poisoned Xiaoxi and wanted to use her life to kill him. Blackmail me, this old man, what do you say I do? Of course, I will pay for my life, and let Qin Feng pay for my granddaughter-in-law. Hu Xiaofeng was so angry that she got up from the ground in a swish and was about to jump on it, but seeing the crutches in Han Dazhu's hand, she could only stand there angrily and shout, what? Let my son pay you for your life. You are shameless, that will die if she dies, why do you want my son to pay for her life? Everyone sighed for a while, is this what a mother can say? Everyone in the village knows that the Qin family scolds or beats Qin Shi's child, but they never know that the child's life is so low in the eyes of the mother. Han Dazhu was also angry, hey, now Xiaoxi is my grandson-in-law of Han Dazhu, and that is my Han family. If you don't give her justice, I will come. Now, call Qin Feng out immediately, or I will go to the police station. I see who dares. End of this chapter. My mysterious doctor and blessed little wife is such a tease. Chapter 8, Get Back the Dowry. Chapter 8 Retrieving the Dowry. Hu Xiaofeng stood in front of Han Dazhu with her waist on. Li Hohat next to him is also a naughty master, pointing at the aggrieved Qin Shi and scolding, you little hoof is a white-eyed wolf, I knew you could do this today, and you were born when you were born. Drowning in the water, why keep it, not to mention wasting our family's food for so many years, and it's so unstoppable even after getting married. It's really bad luck. Said, and spat on the ground. Qin Shi shivered all over, ai Dao periodically, milk. Li Hohat said viciously, go away, don't call me milk, I'm not your milk. Zhang Cuiyun also said yin and yang strangely, as the saying goes, the water splashed by a married daughter, Uncle Han, since Qin Shi is married to your family is your family, what does it have to do with us, don't put any on us. Buckle. Han Dazhu was originally an hunter, and his terrifying suffocating energy burst out. He said angrily, fart, Qin Feng was poisoned, I have already gone to the county for inspection, and he has admitted it himself, now that Xiaoxi has become like this, we are here to seek justice, if you speak well, maybe I can let him go for Xiaoxi's sake. If I mess with him, I'll take Xiaoxi to the police station. Now the Qin family is panicking. What, Qin Feng has already admitted it. And, is there any evidence? Isn't Qin Feng going to go to jail? What do you want? At this moment, Qin Guobiao, who had been silent for a while, suddenly spoke up. If you don't want Qin Feng to go to jail, you can return double the betrothal gift we spent before. Before Han Dazhu finished speaking, Li Hohat was like a cat stepping on its tail, frying her hair instantly, impossible, absolutely impossible. Money is her lifeblood, and getting the money back is doubled, as much as plucking out her heart. You old bastard, you dare to give me money, I tell you, no way, I won't give you the money if I die. Han Dazhu, it's up to you to decide, we have spent a lot of money on treating Xiaoxi in the past 2 days. In addition, Xiaoxi has suffered such a serious crime and must be compensated. It's okay if you don't pay, then send Qin Feng to the hospital. Police station, tell you, once you go in, he will never come out again. Qin Feng, who was shivering and hiding in the room, couldn't listen anymore, and immediately rushed out to hug Li Hohat's arm tightly, crying and tears streaming down his nose, no, I won't go to the police station, Grandma, I won't go. Go to the police station. Mom, you want to save me, I don't want to go to jail. Well, don't squat in a big prison, don't squat, Mom won't let you squat in a big prison. Hu Xiaofeng immediately comforted Qin Feng with distress. Seeing her grandson's pitiful appearance, Li Hohat's heart was bleeding, but compared to the money in her hand, she still refused to let go. She gritted her teeth and looked at Han Dazhu, bargaining, 200 yuan, I will only return the betrothal money, this is my bottom line, whether you want it or not is up to you. Han Dazhu refused to give half a penny, no, a penny is a lot. If you think it's unfair, you can also eat poison, I promise not to pay a penny. You, Li Hohat blushed and had a thick neck. Qin Feng was so frightened that his face turned pale, he shook Li Hohat quickly, and begged, milk, give it, milk, it's better to have less than one more thing, hurry up and give it. Zhang Cuiyun saw that Li Hohat's expression was loose, and immediately became anxious, I can't give it, this money also has a share of our big room, why should I give it to the second room? I don't agree, I want to give it, let the second room find a way to go. End of this chapter. My mysterious doctor and blessed little wife is such a tease. Chapter 9, Death is the ghost of the Qin family. Chapter 9 Death is the ghost of the Qin family. Hu Xiaofeng was furious. She pointed at Zhang Cuiyun with a stern look on her face and cursed, Zhang Cuiyun, you old bitch, I knew you didn't like my son, and wanted to take the opportunity to get rid of my son, I tell you, don't even think about it. Zhang Cuiyun was so furious that he rolled up his sleeves and was about to give her a big ear scratching, cursing, you old dare to scold me, look I won't tear up your rude mouth today. Seeing that he was about to fight in the nest, Qin Guobiao shouted, shut up. Everyone shut up immediately. Qin Guobiao looked at Han Dazhu, and said in a deep voice, family ugliness cannot be made public, you and I are also relatives, so there is no need to do this. Han Dazhu raised his finger and pointed at Qin Shi, who was dying, ugly is also ugly in your family. Besides, it's a bit hypocritical to say that it is my in-laws' family. If it wasn't for what Qin Feng did, why would I bother to come here to make trouble for a bad old man? Qin Guobiao, I think the older you get, the more shameless you are. Qin Guobiao's face was ashen. Seeing that Han Dazhu was determined to turn his face, his chest was heaving and he was breathing heavily. He was obviously angry, but he couldn't do anything about him, so he gritted his teeth. Okay, 400 is 400. Old Chin head. Li Hohat was in a hurry, and just as she was about to speak out to dissuade her, she saw Qin Guobiao glaring at her fiercely. Do you want to watch Xiaofeng go to jail? Li Hohat shrank her neck in fright, and immediately stopped speaking. Han Daju's complexion is a little better now, also. Li Hohat screamed, also. Han Lizi, don't deceive people too much. Han Daju said to himself, you all know that Xiaoxi fell ill as soon as he came to our house, so Xiaoxi meant to enter the ancestral grave of the Qin family, you guys. No, absolutely not, the water splashed by the married daughter, how can the married girl go back to her ancestral home? Besides, you said that the is from your Han family, and now you want to join our Qin family. Family ancestral grave, what is this called? Zhang Zuoyan was originally angry because he lost 400 yuan, but this time he wanted to go to the ancestral grave again. How could there be such a good thing in the world? Yes, no, absolutely not. Li Hohat and Hu Xiaofeng agreed. Qin Guobiao also had a gloomy face. Han Daju, I will never agree to the fact that unmarried daughters have to go back to their ancestral graves. Qin Shi saw that the situation was developing in the expected direction, and the corner of his mouth tickled quietly, and finally it was his turn to perform. So. Cough cough. Cough cough cough. Qin Shi gasped and coughed violently. With Luo Xiujuan's help, she slowly raised her head, looked at Qin Guobiao with red eyes, her voice was weak, and she choked, Grandpa, I want to go back. Go back to Qin's house. Qin Guobiao didn't want to face Qin Shi. Child, you are the daughter-in-law of the Han family, so you should be buried in the Han family, go back, and don't embarrass Grandpa again. In my impression, this is probably the first time Qin Guobiao has spoken to Qin Shi so calmly. Hearing this, Han Daju angrily swept across the Qin family members with his crutches. Okay, as expected of the Qin family members, this is forcing Xiaoxi to death. Since you are not benevolent, fine, today we will make a statement, no matter whether Xiaoxi is alive or not. It's death. In the future, your Qin family will have nothing to do with Xiaoxi. Qin Shi begged like a gossamer, Grandpa. I don't want to say that I was born, belong to the Qin family. People, die. I am a ghost of the Qin family. She struggled to kneel down and kowtow to Qin Guobiao, but she fell to the ground because she was weak, so frightened Luo Xiujuan hurriedly helped her up and pretended to wipe her tears. Luo Xiujuan knew that Qin Shi was acting, but she didn't expect that her role in the scene was so strong, and this fall, the atmosphere was instantly stirred up. End of this chapter. My mysterious doctor and blessed little wife is such a tease. Chapter 10, come back to you after you die. Chapter 10, come back to you after death. Seeing Qin Shi so miserable, the villagers were not happy, and they all spoke to comfort the Qin family. Old Mrs. Li, you should be virtuous, this is your granddaughter, don't force her to death. That's right, they are both granddaughters, one is held up to the sky and the other is stepped in the mud, what a sin. No, this child is dying, so stop forcing her. Li Hohat angrily pointed at the villagers, whoever thinks she is pitiful will bury her in someone's grave. If she doesn't like it, she will shut up with my mother. The villagers were so angry that they didn't dare to speak, and immediately shut up. They were watching the fun, and they didn't come here to pick up a half-dead person to go home and compete with themselves 100 years later. Qin Shi looked at Hu Xiaofeng with teary eyes, Mom, you don't want me either. Come back. Hu Xiaofeng pretended to be embarrassed, Girl, it's not that Mom doesn't want you, it's that you're already married, so there's no need to come back. Qin Shi's weak voice was intermittent, but after I die, I think about you and your parents, Grandpa, Grandfather, Auntie. Oh right. And my brother, cousin, and uncle, if I can come back. Look at you. You usually take care of me like that. I'll come back. Come back to you. Looking for them after death. The faces of the Qin family instantly turned pale, and they couldn't help but have deep fear in their hearts, especially Hu Xiaofeng and Li Hohat, who had bullied Qin Shi a lot in the past. If she came back after her death, they would be the first to deal with them. Thinking of that scene, Hu Xiaofeng and Li Hohat shuddered subconsciously and screamed, don't come back, you are not Qin's family, you are not allowed to come back. The others were not much better, especially Qin Feng, who was so scared that he shivered, hid behind Li Hohat, and kept shouting, I can't come back, Milk, I can't let her come back, she is no longer Qin's family, Milk, you thousand don't let her come back. Han Dazhu saw the needle, humph, don't do bad things, don't be afraid of ghosts knocking on the door, what are you afraid of? Li Hohat pulled Qin Guobiao's clothes, panicked in her heart, and even her voice trembled, she whispered, old man, think of a way, what if the turns into a ghost and looks for us? Although Qin Guobiao didn't quite believe in these things, when he recalled what his family had done to Qin Shi, he felt guilty for sure. He glanced at Qin Shi and sighed, girl, don't blame grandpa for what he did. Afterwards, he looked at Han Dazhu and said righteously to the crowd, I announce that Qin Shi is no longer from the Qin family. Since she has married the Han family, she will be the Han family Cueyun in the future. Go get the genealogy, Xiaofeng will go. Call the village chief. Zhang Cueyun's eyes lit up, hey, good. This method is good. Although Qin Feng's calf was shaking a little, he still rolled and crawled out of the yard and went to call the village chief. The villagers didn't expect the Qin family to be so rude. Qin Shi has already done this, and they cut off ties with her cruelly. Is this a human thing? Ruthless, the Qin family is really ruthless. Li Hohat was excited, yes, as long as this little doesn't have the surname Qin. She can't come back. Han Dazhu's eyes widened in anger, Qin Guobiao, Li Hohat, you are still not human. She is your own granddaughter, so you just watched her become homeless and become a ghost. Li Hohat's bitter and mean face showed a smug smile, Han Lame, you are in charge of heaven and earth, and your Qin family's affairs. Are you taking yourself too seriously? Han Dazhu's heir not, you. End of this chapter.